Hi, today I'm going to make soap for a couple of reasons. One is because we like homemade soap, and two is I want to use this process as an example of writing a report for my STEM writing class. But it just so happens our Concepts in Chemistry class also talks about soap during the course of the semester. Chapter 11 is cleaning agents, and I thought I would show you how a typical soap is made, at least homemade soap. What I'm going to do is take oils, in this case olive oil, coconut oil, and a little bit of castor oil, and as we discussed in chapter 5, those are triglycerides, and I'm going to break the triglyceride bonds apart with lye, that's sodium hydroxide. I'll have a little bit of distilled water in there, and I will show you the process as I go along. But the first thing I'm going to do is put on my protective equipment. This lye is nasty stuff, so I need safety glasses. I'm going to put an apron on, even though it covers my Department of Chemistry t-shirt. They were tie-dyeing t-shirts in the general chemistry labs. And I got one. And I'm going to put an apron on, so in case I would splash oil or sodium hydroxide, let's hope not, on me, it won't ruin my clothes. And then I am going to need rubber gloves, because I definitely don't want to get the sodium hydroxide on me. And I am going to start by weighing out the coconut oil first and putting it in the crock pot. I'm doing a hot processed method because it's much quicker. The coconut oil takes a while to melt, and I'm going to get that going while I weigh out other things. And so I'll let you know in a little bit later what the next step will be after I get these weighed out. Coconut oil looks like it's semi-solid. It's pretty warm in here. We keep the temperature in here about 78. And there's some solids in it, but there's water liquid as I weigh it out. But it's a much more saturated oil than the liquid oils are. 237 grams. You can get a video if you want. Ben, back up.
That's Benny. That's Lena.
I'm being very careful with this. Come on, get away, dog.
He wants to help.
It's going to take more than this. Okay. Okay, I'm going to start mixing the sodium hydroxide into some water. And I have to be very careful with this because the sodium hydroxide is going to create a lot of heat when it dissolves in the water because of its heat of solution. It's an ionic sodium and hydroxy compound, and when it goes into the water it's going to make it very hot, and it's also going to fume and create some vapors. So I have it outside. You can do it inside under the hood, you know, the vent above your stove, but I kind of like to do it out here, and there's a little bit of a breeze. I'm hoping I'm downwind of it. I can't really tell. We'll see. So I'm just going to slowly mix it in until it's all in there. Okay, the oils are all melted and in the crock pot, and I am going to slowly add the lye water solution and stir it as I do. It's going to immediately start reacting and making the soap. Okay, I'm going to treat this beaker when I take it over to the sink with some vinegar to neutralize the sodium hydroxide. And so once I've got that mixed in, I'm going to really stir it with my stick blender. This is really going to try to make it more intimately mixed. so the reaction goes faster. The sodium hydroxide is now cleaving apart those triglycerides and making the long-chain fatty acids and glycerol, like we talked about in the, I mentioned in the section on fats and oils. So I'm going to do this for a little bit until it starts getting pretty thick, more like pudding or something. So I put the crock pot to heating. It's going to cook for about 1 hour, and that's what it looks like at the beginning of the cook time. Halfway through, you can see what the author of the recipe I had said is liquid forming on the top, some kind of a glycerin formation. And it had bumped up onto the lid, and I had scraped that off. It's cooking. It's only got about 20 minutes left. Okay, now we're down to the very end. The soap is pretty much done. I'm going to do something I haven't done before. That's add scent and color. I'm concerned about whether the color will actually stay green. I'm doing green because the scent is balsam fir needle. I'm concerned it's going to volatilize as soon as I put it in there, but we'll see what happens. It's on the lid, as you can see, because it kind of foamed up. It smells good just opening that bottle. I don't know. Let's cross our fingers and hope that it doesn't just totally go away. Boy, it really smells good. Pine forest. I can't tell how much I'm getting in there. I'm going to go ahead and squirt some green food coloring in it. Okay, that's green. I'd kind of like to leave some green swirls in it. It's still coming out. Okay, well, we're going to go with that. I'm going to dish it up into the trays that I've lined with freezer paper. Well, it may only take one tray. Let's see if I can like. And it sets up right away. So I've got to get it in there as quick as I can. It's pretty much soap now. It'll harden over the next couple of days. Okay, I'm going to try to spread this out before it gets too hard. Maybe add a little more scent to it. It's not going to, when you do a hot process soap, it's not going to end up like really smooth. If it were cold process, it'd be very liquidy. It would not be cured at this point. And a hot process is cured at this point, pretty much. Okay, let's see what else I can get out of here, maybe. And this is pretty much soap. I'll show you when it's done how it will look, and I'll cut it into bars tomorrow. Okay, I need to stop messing with it because it's setting up. It has a really pretty rough surface. I think I may try to smooth it out. This is another piece of freezer paper. I thought I might need 2 trays. Maybe that'll help even it out as it cools. Yeah, that's flattened it some. And that is the soap at this point. Okay, this is the day following when I made the soap, and you can see it's hard. It had set up pretty much right away, but this gives it even a little more chance to cure. The top, this is originally the top side. It's kind of rough. If you did a cold process, it wouldn't be rough because it'd be more liquidy for like weeks until it sets up. So now I'm going to try to cut this into bars without cutting a finger off. And I think what I'm going to do, because I think this would be too big of a bar, like that. I think I'm going to cut it into squares, and I think I'll start with a cut down the middle. So it's kind of waxy, feels waxy now, and it's, you know, really nice looking soap. And then I'm going to see if I can cut it this way, keeping my fingers out of the way. Yes. And it does smell good. It smells like the balsam fir. Probably like a bar that size is something you could use in the shower. That one's maybe a little big. I'm just going to continue cutting these into bars, and that's my soap.